Mike, what have you seen from these 4 games back from break that kind of either lets you know you need to shore up something to be ready for this Big Ten stretch, or knows you're ready for it? What are the indications there?
Well, a little bit of just kind of settling in, just because of the influx of guys either being here or not being here. So a little different between the first two and the last two, but just settling in. We've, Zelenoff goes down at the tournament in Milwaukee, and so that changes things up a little bit. But you get, Finley, Hensler, and Osborne back. There are 3 important pieces that have a tendency to move guys down. Guys are always looking to elevate. Those guys come in, and we've gotten back to just a little bit of a rhythm. And I know school isn't in session yet, but from the hockey piece, I've liked our power plays come back and continued to contribute. Our goaltending's come back and played well. But some things that I think we need to continue to progress, because as you know, during the season, power plays start to go away towards the end of the year. And so hopefully we can continue to build 5-on-5 productivity throughout our lineup. Our depth has been a strength, and we're going to need that over the second half.
Looking back on that series against Michigan State back last year, a few months ago, where do you think your group has improved the most since then?
I don't know. That was a pretty crazy series. We did some things that you liked and some things that you want to leave in the past. Starting on the road and spotting a team a 2-goal lead. And we tried to address that as we came into the second half at having better starts and not playing from behind and playing with fire. It didn't cost us what it could cost us. The piece, I think that'll be shown here in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks on we're a different team. They're a different team. They've got different guys in the lineup, so do we, that weren't there for that weekend. And so what I do think is we'll be stressed out. And what I mean by that is not from an emotional standpoint. I mean from the standpoint of they're a good team, as good a team defensively. They're playing real well defensively. They've got one of the best goaltenders in the country. And they've got a line that is as productive as anybody else in the country, too. And Martone, Strammel, and Russell. And they're veteran laden. They're very well coached. That's the piece that I think they'll, if you have cracks in your foundation, they'll shine a light through it. They'll try and expose that. So I think you've got 2 very good teams that are excited about playing at this time of the year, playing against each other in 2 very meaningful games.
Rivalries are born by playing in big games, and you and Michigan State have kind of done that over the last couple of years. Important games with consequences in Chicago, the last weekend of the regular season a couple of years ago. Does that amplify things a little bit more, knowing that this is a team that's obviously won every championship the Big Ten's had for the last 2 years? It's kind of the team you have to go through to be there at the end.
Yeah, I think the one thing about playing in the Big Ten now, and this is my 3rd year as a coach, is you better be on point no matter who you're playing. And until somebody knocks them off, they're 2-time league champions, and so they've got some pedigree to them. Like I said, I've got a lot of respect for how they do things. They're good at what they do, and so we want to judge ourselves against the best, and the best way to do that is play them, and we're playing them at a very important time for both of us. And so it's a great opportunity for us to look in a mirror a little bit and see where we're at.
Hey, Coach, it's easy to focus on, rankings and results, but what have you learned about this group as, they prepare for a game like this?
They've been pretty resilient, and I've mentioned to Todd a little bit on just we haven't had the same lineup consistently throughout this season. And what does that mean? It's not because the coach is incredibly disgruntled with the guys that are out there and how they're playing. It's been from availability. It's been from opportunity, whether it's guys earning it, injuries, opportunities for guys going out and playing in other situations, all of the World Juniors or the Spengler Cup. And we've had different guys step up at different times. And so what I've learned is the guys are a bit resilient. We've played from behind at Michigan State, played from behind and not by a goal, but by a couple of goals. Same thing at Notre Dame. Our leadership group's done a really good job at keeping our guys focused on what's in front of us, not what happened, whether it was in the last period or the last week. And so those are some things that I think come to mind right away on what I've learned about the group. They don't mind going to work. They come to the rink every day, and whether we've been successful or not, they go to work. And so that's something that we hopefully are going to be able to rely upon over this stretch here now when we're back into big play, Big Ten play, because you're going to have teams that are going to put you in positions maybe you haven't been in before.
We talk about this being a big week, big opponent and whatnot, but in general, how much of preparation is done for a specific team or specific opponent, and how much preparation is just on yourselves?
A little bit of both. And if you're asking how much, we try on a weekly basis to focus on us, on things that we did well, things we didn't do well, while we're still trying to develop a skill level that can provide us different successes as individuals and then collectively in the second half. Once you start playing a team and you've gone now, we've got some guys in that locker room that have played against this coach team over the last 3 seasons. And now what you do is you understand there's a certain brand or a certain piece that they're going to bring. They're going to be hard. They're going to be as physical as anybody we've played here in the second half. They're committed to what they do as far as offensively and defensively. It's going to be a hard game. And if you're not willing to be invested in that, you're going to play on the outside a lot during that game. And so for us, it's showing some nuances, whether it's power play, penalty kill, some face-off things that they do. And then you're going to see some things right out of the gate that are going to be a little different that they haven't shown on tape yet. So you ask your guys to adapt inside a game. So all 3 of those pieces get checked off during the week. 1, our focus. 2, maybe some things that we'll see from them. And then 3, you better be able to adapt to anything that we see that we haven't seen before.
One of the things about the stats that's been really noticeable of a change has been a lot more scoring from the defensemen this season. I know that's something that we've kind of looked at in past years, but you're getting it this year, and it's not just one guy; it's a bunch of guys. And I'm wondering if there's something you can point to as a reason for that this year. It doesn't seem like from the numbers that they're necessarily getting a lot more shots through. It's just that the shots that they're taking are going through or going in. What do you kind of look at there?
Some of that is personnel. When you look at Dubinsky and you look at Osborne coming in, and then the maturation of Palatachuk, Ben Dexheimer taking his game to a new level. It's something in today's game that if you're going to be there at the end and be consistent offensively, all 5 guys have to contribute. And so, going on what last year and our ineffectiveness to produce from the blue line, it was something that we wanted to focus on through a little bit style of play. I think our defensemen are getting more comfortable at the blue line at finding ways to get pucks to the net, but also finding ways to be comfortable playing down by the goal line and having our forward group cover for them. So I like that it's coming from a guy like Ben Dexheimer and that others are being able to follow, because he's our captain and he's elevated his game, and we need that to continue. As I said, when you talk about 5-on-5 play, you better be getting some defensemen to hop up and help into that, because teams are defending in layers and it's hard to score 5-on-5 goals.
Coach, apologies if you've been asked this already, but what went into the decision to go with Hauser 2 nights in a row last weekend, and what do you like about what he's doing right now that led you to make that decision?
Yeah, really him pitching a shutout on Friday makes that decision a little easier for me, but yet I still pondered a little bit on, do we get Pulver in? But I tried to stay true to not trying to overcoach that position. And if a player goes out and no matter how many shots he saw or didn't see is perfect and nothing got by him, I want that feeling good for the next night. And he wasn't perfect because we put him on an island a couple of times on Saturday, but I thought he was definitely a difference maker in finding a way to close the door on that game. Now, that being said, I've got all the confidence in Pulves to be able to get his number called. He did that when we were in Lansing when he was needed and showed very well and has played well in his start here in the second half. So I feel comfortable with both of them.
Quick injury check-in. Bruno going to be available, or what's the status
Going in a
of that?
really good direction.
Okay.
Yep, I believe so.
And on the two long-term guys, any more progress or knowing whether there's a chance you're getting them back in March? I mean, that seems like maybe a best-case scenario for both those guys.
Yeah, but the dailies are going well for both Schultz and Zelli. Now, the difference is Schultz had to go through surgery, and there is a pretty well-defined timeline, and it's going to be how fast can he get through that timeline. Is he ahead of schedule by a week or 2 weeks to see if he's going to have an opportunity to play at the end of the season? Zelli's a little bit more on the day-to-day, week-to-week. He's making significant progress on his dailies, and that is giving us some confidence on what the potential is for his return. It's not going to be in the next couple of weeks, I can tell you that. It's going to be more long-term than that, but we do like the direction that it's going right now. Both of them are in great mindsets. They're trying to crush their days so that they can have an opportunity to get back with their group. But they're involved in our day-to-days, just not on the rink.
Anything else? Okay.
Thank you.